Jay, that's strangely close to Daniel Jones from the Giants. Daniel, is that you? Beat the Chiefs. Show me. If the Broncos and Russell Wilson can show me that they can beat the Chiefs, then I will start believing.
The crowd up. And so are this defense, and Kansas City won't snap the ball again. The Denver Broncos have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs.
David Montgomery on the Lions, former Bear, gotta make this his revenge game for sure. David Montgomery gets the touchdown that ices the game. No! And there's a flag. There's flags. There's flags. There's flags. There's flags. Snap. Hold. Kick.
Denver wins! Denver wins! Let's go!
They're open. No!
What happened? Oh shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sunday Night Football. It's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a good one. This is a big game for both teams. And for the Seahawks, everybody's got them in their top 5. Darnold comes out 4 for 4, 49 yards. And here's a handoff. This is Kenneth Walker who gets the edge. And man, for the Commanders, it's like their season feels like it's on the line. You get a 3-5 team at home on primetime going against a top 5 team in the NFL, and the stakes couldn't be higher. You fall to 3-6, and your season's pretty much done. Yet that's the situation they're in against a top 5 team. So you're going to get a very, very desperate version of this team. Now, let me go ahead and pull up background here. 737. And we'll remove that and add that, and boom. We are in there like swimwear. All right, we don't need a ticker because we're gonna have the ticker like this tonight. Here we go. 2nd and 4. Darnold, handoff. Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker is gonna pick up a couple. It's gonna be 3rd and 1. All right, let me open up. Man, if you guys were on FanDuel today, you know what happened. Bad day for FanDuel. And I'm not sure if they're going to give everybody bonus bets or what. So far, they haven't given me crap. Nothing. Player receiving yards. And there's a flag down here. Gonna need a big day from some guys, McNichols, JSN, Debo, Zach Ertz. Live profit boost. And we'll see, what do we got? 5. All right, 3rd and 5. Place, $491. All right, Sam Darnold. Kenneth Walker. Oh, stay on your feet. Stay on your feet, dude. Kenneth Walker could not stay on his feet. Rashee Rice, a little bastard, got 10 yards short. All right. Here we go. Oh, almost intercepted. Trying to get it to JSN, and this is going to be a flag that's going to put him on the 1 yard line. This is going to put him on the 1 yard line. A big time penalty. Oh, that's a big one. Tied for second. Tied for second most penalties in the NFL. So, not good. Not good. Display name, unnecessary. You guys know who I am. And if you don't, I'm Kyle. You can just ask. But that penalty is going to put them real close. What is this? The 3 yard line? All right. The Commanders, can they make a stand? First and goal. Pressure's on. Darnold, handoff. Kenneth Walker. Stood up. Not a yard gain. We got Lil E in the chat, or as I like to say, Lil T. What's up, Lil T? That was a big play for first down. If they can hold them to field goals, I mean, that's the thing about the Seahawks, man. If you can hold them inside the 5 yard line to field goals instead of touchdowns, you give yourself a chance to win. It's a good offense. Faking the handoff, rolling. Darnold keeping the play alive. And it's touchdown with a flag, which is going to be declined. But there is, it's going to be on the Commanders. Penalty is declined. Touchdown, Seahawks. 6-0. Hey, Mary, is there any those socks you got me for the was that one pair? I feel like I need to watch it again to really appreciate it. Oh, yeah. By the way, if you guys haven't gone to theaters to see Black Phone 2, do it immediately. Black Phone 2 is maybe the best movie I've seen in theaters for that genre ever. Ugh, I don't come away from the movies feeling look, if I go see just like a lighthearted comedy, it's like you kind of know what you're getting into. Like it's much different if you go see Oppenheimer. It's like I'm coming here to get my mind blown, you know? And I feel like with Black Phone too, it was like you're going to the movie to see a horror movie. You're not expecting a Christopher Nolan type of plot. Yet I came away from that movie feeling like it was a piece of art, which I find is very rare in the horror genre. Um, but that movie felt like a piece of art. Just an incredible movie. Like The Grabber, he has this thing where he's really good on skates, and I was thinking like, remember when the Joker 2 came out? It was terrible, but the way the trailer looked, it was so artsy and so like in the first Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, it was so like the balance, the delicate balance between like this crazy guy that's gone mad and his like how he walks around like as if he had no chains, you know, he dances his way and just kind of flails around, yet he's such a dark person. It was this weird balance of like hot and cold at the same time. You can't really put your finger on like how somebody that messed up could be that carefree. And I felt like this had a lot of that. Like The Grabber, he's like spinning on ice skates and like it took place in Colorado. So like just the cinematography of the actual shots, the where it was filmed, there were so many scenes where you're just like and then like it has like a message. Like there's like character development, like there's symbology. This movie has everything. It's the first scary movie I've ever seen where I'm like, this could win an Oscar. This is a scare. I've never seen a scary movie that I'm like, this could win an Oscar, but that was the first. So I would say Black Phone 2. Also, if you're not one that goes to the theaters, this is the type of movie you want to see in theaters. I'll leave that alone. 3rd and 2. Wow, Zach Ertz. Get up there, big guy. Oh, there's a late flag. What's it called? Black Phone 2. We got Jinja in the chat. Should be a good one. I think it will be. Black Phone 2. And I'll show you. Black Phone 2. Here's what it looks like. Black Phone 2. Definitely go check it out. I'm not even sponsored by them. I will keep that in mind for when I'm back home this week. Yeah, definitely. And let me know too after you see it. I'm like real curious to hear your thoughts on it. 2nd and 6. Dude, it is so cold. It's like 40 degrees in here. Oh, 2nd and 6, little pitch. Was that Ja'Cory? Yeah, Bill. I always think it's weird when I call him Bill. I'm like, you're not Bill. There's only one Bill. Wow, 3rd and 1 in a big time stop. And an early decision for Dan Quinn, but he's going to have a little time to make it. End of the first quarter. Seattle up 7-0. Which reminds me that it's time to update the ticker because of the end of the first quarter. Here we go. Done. And we got a touchdown, so that's actually why we're updating the ticker, not because of the end of the first quarter, but because we had a touchdown. Duh. All right, here we go. I think this is it. There we go. By the way, guys, low key, one of the best like post game shows is Peacock. After Sunday Night Football, they go into this like post game thing where they break down all the games. An amazing show. It's an amazing show. When I get done with Sunday Night Football, you guys might not know this, but I watch that show, take down all the data, and I bring it to you on my recap. So you don't have to buy Peacock. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to save you guys money. All right, let's look at some bets here. FanDuel still hasn't offered me shit for what they put me through today. Fucking pieces of crap. Whatever. All right. Let's go to game specials. Oh, they're going for it in 4th down. All right, here we go. Snap. Hold it back. Get it to the tight end. Yes! And they got it. 87. Why does Sam Darnold look like he's not a quarterback? He looks like he owns his own like painting company. He doesn't do any labor, but when it's time to land a big contract, he's the guy that shows up with the clipboard and that little laser that measures the distance between a wall so he can write down the proper measurements to send you a quote. That's who Donald looks like. That's who, or Sam Darnold. Donald. That's who Sam Darnold looks like. He looks like he would pull up in something that's like not lavish, but like, oh, okay, he's doing pretty well. Like a new Land Rover, not a Range Rover. He's not that bougie. This guy pulls up in a Land Rover that's like he bought used, and you can't tell if he's just fiscally responsible or if, you know, his business just hasn't taken off yet. It's nice enough where you're just caught in the middle and you don't know. We'll go with like a 2018 used Land Rover with, 55,000 miles. That's what Sam Darnold pulls up before he gives you a quote on whether or not you're going to use his painting company. He also gives you a nice business card before he leaves, and it's like a nicer business card than 95% of people because he spent the extra $300 to have nicer business cards, knowing that it's worth the investment. 2nd and 1. Ooh, this is kind of an awkward pitch, and it didn't go anywhere, and that was just a dumb play call. I don't know if it was execution or what, but kind of an awkward play. How cold is it? I'm going to bring something up that nobody's talked about. Are you ready for this? Jaden Daniels was my favorite quarterback coming out of college, right? Everybody knows I was a big Jaden fan. Now, guys, he is so freaking skinny. How the hell is he going to play in Lambeau Field in January? Seriously. Like, have we thought about this? Like, I understand why Jamar Chase or these guys that are, 6 foot, 195 pounds of muscle, or 6'2", 215, or 6'6", 320, 240, 6'2" edge rushers, 5'10", 280, or 5'10", 185 pounds of muscle. Guys, Jaden Daniels, how the hell is he going to be in the cold? Seriously. How is that guy going to play in the cold? He is just a skinny son of a bitch. Here we go. Blitz coming. Jaden. Intercepted. Did he get his feet down? Did he get his toes down? Caught. Jaden Daniels interception. Interception. Wow. Jaden Daniels throws the pick. Let's see. Did he get his foot down? 1. Wow. And Jaden Daniels throws his first career interception. Just kidding. But look at this. All right. This is ridiculous. Let's go delete that. Delete that. Let's go to images. Look at this. Bo Chapman-Nix, top of his class. Now, I'm only showing you this because Jaden Daniels is playing tonight, all right? But as far as passing yards, touchdowns, and quarterback wins goes, Bo Nix over Caleb, over Jaden, over Drake. But look, this is what I really wanted to show you guys. Hold on. Let me see. Download. Did I download it? 736. No, I think I... Oh. Where did it go? Jaden Daniels. Here, I'll just show you. First, let me do this. Look at this. Look how skinny he is. What did he weigh in at? Guys, I'm telling you. Holy crap. Look at that. No way. You guys, come on. That guy's not going into Lambeau Field. That guy's not going into Lambeau. All right, so Sam Darnold's going to take over. Let's see. It looks like they have more speed. Let's see if they keep hitting the outsides. Here's Darnold rolling, throwing, caught, JSN. What is his name? All right. All right. Dan Quinn. They like to play single high. Here we go. Good stop on defense there, right? Remember, Dan Quinn was the defensive coordinator for the Seahawks in the Legion of Boom era. Right? This guy is a very defensive-minded dude. He likes that balanced approach where good coverage helps the pass rush and vice versa. Very similar to Vic Fangio. But when you have somebody like Patrick Surtain, you can be a little more aggressive than you can typically be. But probably a big reason why Bobby Wagner's on the team is because guys like that can fly around and hit hard. And when it comes to what Dan wants to do with this defense, man, they want opposing offenses to know that when they play you, you're going to feel it. Violent football. Now, I think Dan Quinn is on record. There was a big story that came out about his journey to Washington, about how he's changed his scheme since the Legion of Boom. You realized after his stint in Atlanta that his scheme didn't fit the NFL anymore, and he tweaked it in Dallas. And this is something that big run by Charbonnet. This is something that great coaches do is they change and evolve as the NFL evolves. And of course, look, there's a reason last year it was the lowest amount of points scored through. I think we were at like week 12 and it was like, this is the fewest amount of points since 1991. So it goes in waves where the offense adapts and it learns new shit and the defense is behind. And then somebody figures out how to stop that offense. And, the one that comes to mind is the Todd Bowles, right? Because the Chiefs had that high flying offense. And then in 2020, Tom Brady went to the Super Bowl with the Bucs and the Chiefs couldn't do nothing. And then the following year, you saw everybody when they played the Chiefs ran Todd Bowles' defense against the Chiefs. So that's the way it goes, man. Offenses run away and, advantage offense. And then defense catches up and figures it out. And now it's like offense is not scoring a lot of points and games turn into and I would say every 5 years, the pendulum swings the other way. I mean, just last year, the team that was 9th in the NFL in points per game scored only 23 points. I was just talking about this. Points per game this year, the Colts are number 1, 32.2. But last year, if you go to number 1, it's about the same. Detroit is 33 points. But look at this. Green Bay, 8th. Minnesota, 9th. Denver, 10th. Denver last year was 10th with 24 points. 10th with 24 24 points. This year, 10th, well, I'll just say it this way. This year, 24 points is Cincinnati Bengals. They're ranked 16th. And that is 32 teams, 16th. That's middle of the pack. That's mediocre. So a mediocre defense, a mediocre offense this year, last year would have put you in the top 10 in the NFL in points per game, because last year it was really difficult to score, right? This year it's different. The offense is figuring it out again. You got Detroit, Buffalo, Baltimore, Tampa, and Philly are at 29. All those other teams are 30 or more. I mean, you got even Washington's 28.8 points. They're 0.2 points away from scoring 29, almost 30 points per game. And I mean, you're flirting with, 8 teams, almost 8 teams that can score almost 30 points per game, where last year there was just one team that could do that. So the pendulum has swung back in favor of the offense. And that's why Dan Quinn, when they did a special on him, he said, after Atlanta, my scheme didn't fit the NFL anymore, and I had to tweak it in Dallas. And he's also tweaked it here in Washington as well. But the one thing about all of the defenses he's coached, he's always wanted his players to fly around, play with that type of mantra. And that is why he brought Bobby Wagner here, was to be a culture setter. And we know that the best defenses, man, their middle linebacker is that dog that just brings that culture, the chirper, right? We got a lot of silent killers on the outside, but in the middle, we want somebody that's going to be bringing that energy, putting the fear of God in any wide receiver that thinks he's going to come over the middle. And Bobby Wagner, still playing at an extremely high level. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And, Denver did the same thing with Dre Greenlaw. It's like, hey, we need somebody violent in the middle. And Dan Quinn definitely got that. Big 3rd and 8 here. Sam Darnold going deep, wide open, touchdown. And that is Horton, who is wide open. And now it's on Jaden Daniels and the Commanders to overcome. After this extra point, it'll be a 14-0 lead. Wow. And you can see before the play, they were trying to get situated. There looked like there was definitely some confusion. You could see 30 was trying to communicate with Bobby Wagner. And Seattle, I don't know if Sam Darnold realized that the Commanders were completely caught off guard, but that was a big-time miscue by the Commanders. I mean, they had no idea. They had no clue. I don't know if they're going to show you on TV, but you can see them going on the right side. They're just confused about where they're supposed to be lining up, their area of responsibility on the field, and he's able to just run right past everybody. 14-0 kick is good in the Commanders with 8:52 left in the first half. Take a 2-possession lead. And one thing I'm interested to see is, can the Seattle Seahawks continue this? Because against the Texans, we saw Seattle come out. They scored 2 touchdowns in their first 2 possessions. And then they kind of just, I don't want to say went away, but it was like the fourth quarter, I think, before they scored again. And it really did feel like, oh, they're going to score a ton of points in this game. And it just stopped. So I'm wondering if Seattle's going to be able to continue kind of keep the points rolling in here. But, yeah, man, Dan Campbell bringing Bobby Wagner here It definitely was a culture or a tone setter, more than anything else. I mean, that was a very friendly deal, only worth 1 million or 1 year. So it was kind of a prove it deal, the proverbial coach on the field type of player who it brings that presence that's valued, that coach mentally as valued as his physical abilities. Um, and Bobby Wagner was, he played under Dan Quinn with the Legion of Boom. I mean, think about that. Dan Quinn's recruitment message to him when he was a free agent, you know, it was probably in the group chat that he's been in since 2012 with the Legion of Boom. I'm sure Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor and all the other members of the Legion of Boom are in there, and Bobby Wagner. Dan Quinn's like, "Hey, dude, get your ass over here. You're going to be a commander." And, things haven't been going that great for the Commanders this year. Points, not bad. I mean, not terrible. Let's look. The Commanders. Oh no, that was last year. I was about to say, I'm like, it does not feel like the Commanders are scoring 29 points a game. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That was 2024. 2025, the Commanders have fallen down to 18, 23.4 points per game. Oh my gosh. You guys, Seattle with another turnover. Kick return. He just gets hit. No, he just gets punched out. He gets the ball punched out. He gets the ball punched out right here. What's up, boys? Should be a good one. Brother Ginger's abandoned us. What's it called? I will keep that in mind for when I'm back at home. We got a embrace the struggle E-dub in the chat. Ginger, sorry about the Colts today. Kyle, congrats to the Broncos. I imagine Rick was ecstatic about the Bears today. He shivers and his shoulders touch. Yeah, Jaden Daniels, skinny as hell. Sorry, I didn't see that. 175. I was wondering about his actual weight come playoff time. Here's Sam Darnold going deep. Touchdown. How's that? Do you feel it now, Mr. Krabs? Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? I mean, that should be exactly the meme for this. Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Oh my God. This is going to be great, you guys. Did you guys see there's a new SpongeBob movie coming out in theaters? Christmas, actually. No, I might see it. All right, so we're going to try this kickoff again. We're going to try this again. All right. So we got, let's see, 21-0. Let me try something really quick. I'm going to need to open up my Facebook. And we're going to have to message me. Recent screenshot. See what this is. Let's see. Now let's see how desperate they get now. Let's see. All right. Seven. See, 7. So I got 7. This should be 14. And then, nope, 0-0. Let's see this one. 7. Huh. Ooh, quick conversion here. So we got 0. I'm trying to find, here we go. Commanders. Videos. There we go. Can't believe they gave up that quick touchdown. Oh, come on. They blew it dead. Torrey Horton has 2 touchdowns in the first 2 quarters. Jeez. That's embarrassing. They're making this dude seem like a freaking Seahawks. Here's another punt. Jeez. All right, so we got 14. $21-0. All right. All done. You guys ready for this? I'm going to show you what I did now. Here we go. And we got 0-0. And then we're going to go crop. Here we go. Split. Now I need the 14. Here we go. There we go. And then done. Man, look how fast I was able to do this. Okay. I'm not patting myself on the back or anything. I'm just saying. Not many people can take an idea and be like, you know what? My followers are going to see this idea. All right. I hate the word followers. Sounds so egotistical. My people that like watching this channel. That's what I mean. Here we go. Downloads. Download. $8.23. Here it is. All right. So here we go. I hope you guys appreciate this if you grew up watching SpongeBob.
Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Art thou feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
Hold on. I got to get the comments off. Okay. Okay, let's try it one more time.
Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Art thou feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
Honestly, I want to make the very last one the same ticker. Oh, let me just do this here. Open. Wow. Smith and Jigba when he needed a play. Dude, if they don't hurry up, the Commanders are going to get blown out, eliminated from the playoffs, and they're going to bench the starters. That's the thing. When you blow teams out, man, like the Chiefs, not last year, but the year before, a couple of years before, like you add up all of those, like, quarter and a half worth of rest. That was another reason that the Chiefs were able to go into the playoffs. They get the first round bye, and they got 3 full games less that they've played. Wow. Touchdown. Oh my God. No huddle. Look at this. Kenneth Walker just fakes the handoff. He rolls out. Who's that? That's White. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. I think it's time for Dan Quinn to adjust his scheme. Wow. Why aren't we kicking an extra point? Oh, they did kick the extra point. Okay. 28-0. Jeez. All right. Time to bet on the Commanders, baby. I'm taking the Commanders to come back and win the game. Actually, it's not that crazy. The good thing about the Commanders getting their shit out, pushed in here is that they did it early. If they can get a touchdown before the end and just have a 3-possession game, it's possible that they can come back. I'm glad that it's not the fourth quarter and it's 28-0. No, it's the second quarter. I mean, they're gonna have to get probably actually the thing is when you have 2 quarters, like when you're down 28 points, if it's the second quarter, you always hear people saying we're gonna need to get like a takeaway or something. It's not true. It's not true. You just need 3 punts. That's it. And you're good. Now who started with the football? Who started with the football? That makes a big difference. If they can score a touchdown here and then score a touchdown on the opening drive in the second half, it'll be 28-14. If they get one stop, it's 21-28. If they force literally if they just score touchdowns for their next 4 possessions, all they need their defense to do is force 2 punts and they're back in this game. 2 punts. So that's why I say, like, no, you don't need like if it was the fourth quarter, you're doing the math and you're like, no, time, we need a turnover. But I think too often people say that in games like this, and it's like, actually, no, they actually don't. Photo. See here. Damn. I need to go to this video and here, and we'll revert. Here we go. Crap. All right. Here we go. All right. Boom. And 28-0. There we go. All right. Let's see. What are the odds right now? Buffalo Bills beat Chiefs in regular season yet again. LOL. However, the Bills must be able to do it when it matters the most in the postseason. Happy belated Halloween. Thank you, Lil or Edub. And that World Series game last night was incredible. Yeah, it was so funny. I tried to watch the highlights and I looked up highlights on YouTube and it's like it was the ninth inning and then they showed the ball that went all the way deep, but it ends up getting caught. The other guy got injured while they caught it. And then all of a sudden, it goes to like the 11th inning and it shows I guess the run and then the out. And then like, what about the 10th inning? I was surprised. I'm like, it's World Series game 7 in extra innings and the entire highlights were 3 minutes. I'm like, wow. You would think like it would been more, I don't know, I was expecting, like, if I watch a football, like, if there was Super Bowl highlights, like, it would've been 15 minutes long, and I'm like, "This went into extra innings." I was expecting, like, 15, 20 minutes. Nope, 3 3-minute video, and I was like, "Okay, I don't I don't feel like I watched the game after watching the highlights," which is how I like to feel after watching the YouTube highlights. I mean, I'm like, I know who won, and it's weird. I was cheering for Toronto, which I didn't know, um, until the end. But I was like, I guess I was cheering for them because I like when someone new wins, and I knew Toronto was like a massive underdog. Like the Dodgers had just so much talent, and the Toronto, whatever they are, they they were that team that was like they weren't supposed to, they weren't even supposed to make it to a game 7. I'm just always one to cheer for that team. All right. And I'm going to show you this. Oh, wait. Is this under the right thing? No, that's under background. Here, overlay. Background. Where's video? Here we go. 8:35. Here we go. Washington. Man, why didn't I put a bet in on FanDuel for the Commanders to win before it's too late? Dude, they're plus 2,000. Plus 2 grand. I love it. Let me see what else can I. Let me. Here we go. Handoff.
Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Are you feeling?
Oh, wait. I got to take this out. Okay. Here we go.
Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Are you feeling it? Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? After thou feeling it now, Mr.
Okay. I got to fix that. Are you feeling it now, Mr.? And then it just ended. I also got to fix the crop it. Crop it. Bop it. Did you guys ever play that? Bop it. Pull it. Spring it. I want to get a clear image of it being 7-0 as well. Seahawks. Let me go 21-0. 14-0. 7-0. Here we go. Boom. Got it. And we're going to delete that photo. All right, here we go. 2nd and 5. Daniels had to throw it away. And we can even put some effects on that. Daniels going to run it in, isn't it? Oh, 1 yard line. There we go. There we go. And messenger. We're going to go crop. Touchdown. Jaden Daniels. That's perfect. Jaden Daniels. Who gets the ball to start the second half? That is all I need to know. You got to keep in mind, too, they're at home. They're at home. $8.41. There we go. Playing prevent already? The fuck happened to the defense for the Hawks? Look at this. Ready? I have officially made it.
Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Are you feeling it? Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Off to the feeling it now, Mr. Krabs.
Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Wow. All right. So let me see if I can look up. Let me see. Okay, Rook. Offense moving like they got somewhere to be. Our offense. Oh, wait. So the Commanders started with the ball. The Commanders started with the ball. Wait, no, that's the intros to the defense. So the Seahawks started with the ball. Our offense. Let's see. Dang, I can't figure it out. Let me Google it. Who received the ball first in the Commanders-Seahawks game? The Commanders received the ball first against the Seahawks. The Commanders received the opening kickoff. So that changes things a little bit. So now you're going to need 3 stops defensively. Still no touchdowns for JSN. No touchdowns for Kenneth Walker. And I expect Seattle to keep their foot on the gas here. Oh, there's JSN. JSN all the way to the 50. Wow. And timeout Seattle. Sam Darnold has been surgical to start in Washington. 4 touchdowns and a perfect completion rate for the Seahawks' first 4 drives. The last QB to pull that off, Tom Brady in 2007. Very rare air. Wow. I posted the Seahawks. They posted, that's our guy for the Seahawks 1 minute ago. And I posted, are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? And I'm wondering, I'm hoping Seattle sees it and retweets it. Wow. JSN just caught that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All the way now. Darnold is currently 13 for 13. That would have been 14 for 14. Jeez. Who could have I guess it could have been predicted. Commanders kind of suck. But what is going on with the Commanders? So they're going to take a timeout to avoid a 10-second runoff. And all of a sudden, it's like, okay, well, I thought maybe they would try to kick a field goal, but they could score 35 points in the first half if they score another touchdown. And the real question is not, whether the Commanders can score 28 points. It's whether the Commanders can get one stop. I mean, they just need one. What is this? All right. And we're having an official review right now. It is an important call here. The runner was down inbounds. Oh, I know what's going on. Video clips. I'm trying to upload an overlay. There we go. Recents. Here we go. I'm like, dude, I got to update my freaking ticker. Wait a minute. That's an overlay. I guess I'm looking for a background. All right. So 3 seconds left. And here is a field goal attempt. Wow. Made it. 31-7. And man, it's funny too because Seattle has they've lost both of their games at home. And usually Seattle's a really tough really tough atmosphere, but they've played great on the road and played all right at home, but wow. That's funny that they're interviewing Mike instead of Dan. Wow. Maria Taylor coming up live on the halftime show. Went to the same high school as Mike McDonald. I did. I had Matthew Stafford leading the NFL in touchdowns. The Rams were my Super Bowl pick. Broncos, Rams. That was my Super Bowl pick. And I must say, it looks like it might happen. It looks like it could happen. Let me do this banners. Boom. No incompletions for Darnold in that half. Washington fans booing. You know what's crazy is, well, the no incompletions, but the fact that they've been like pushing the ball downfield. It's not like they've been playing it safe. I mean, they've really been throwing the ball. They've really been taking shots downfield, and they've really been taking shots downfield, and still not a single incompletion. I mean, this dude is locked the F in. Uh-oh, people are starting to see my "Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs" video. Uh-oh, starting to blow up. Everyone's getting on their phones because it's halftime, and I knew this would be a hit. I knew this would be a hit. I gave it to you guys first. Just know that. I gave it to you guys first.
Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Are you feeling it? Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? After thou feeling it now, Mr. Krabs.
Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Because Sam Darnold is. Sam Darnold's freaking feeling it. JSN has 93 yards. Deebo Samuel has JSN just updated to 119. He's got 119 yards receiving. McNichols, I think he's going to have a big half. Deebo's going to need a big half. Zach Ertz is going to need a big half. And then Deebo scores. I thought JSN, Kenneth Walker, would score. I'm not so sure about that one. Yeah, I don't know about that, Jim. Let me cash. Oh, shoot. I hear Sunday fun day. What a day. Bo knows comebacks. Could you really call that a comeback? Let's be real. Was that a comeback? All right, I'm going to give you my bet of the second half. Are you guys ready? Darnold recorded 215 passing yards in the second quarter. JSN, 40 yards receiving in the third quarter. Sam Darnold, 90 yards passing in the third quarter. Plus 928. Sam Darnold, 375 yards passing total. We add them both. And we need to... Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? go here. All right. So we're going to go touchdown scorers. Traylon Burks is with the Commanders. Let's go. And then we're going to need Deebo Samuel is going to need that. And then we're going to do Zach Ertz to have 50 yards. There we go, 2 yards. Okay, here's what we got. Here's what we cooked up. This is our crazy odds one, okay? We got JSN 40 yards receiving in the third quarter. Sam Darnold 90 yards passing in the third quarter. Sam Darnold 375 passing yards. He has 282. So basically, if he goes for 90 yards in the third quarter, he'll be at 372. So I'll only need 3 more passing yards for the rest of the game. That's in case they benched him. 375, and then JSN to score a touchdown. I'm hoping he gets that next touchdown. Then Deebo Samuel on the other side to get a touchdown. Deebo Samuel to have 22 receiving yards, and Zach Ertz to have 29 receiving yards in the second half. $374. $2 bet. JSN 40 yards in the third quarter. Sam Darnold 90 yards passing in the third. JSN touchdown. Deebo Samuel touchdown. 21 yards for Deebo, or 22 for Deebo, and 29 yards receiving for Zach Ertz. Do you know Joe Flacco had his first career game with 400 plus passing yards? I didn't know he had never done that before. Pretty wild, right? You know what's cool is like Joe Flacco, you know, as disappointing as it is that he didn't get the win, you know, he can hang his hat on like, man, I'm like giving you guys a chance. Like, this isn't on me. Like, this is on you guys. Y'all need to figure your shit out. Because, and I said this in the offseason when they were struggling to come up with an extension with Trey Hendrickson, yet they paid T. Higgins. I'm like, what are they doing? They need to prioritize defense. And then the offensive coordinator, a week before preseason started, said, you know, we just need to score more opponents. They asked him like about the defense, and he's like, we just need to score more points than the other team. And I'm like, I had a whole episode about this. I said, that was your guys' plan last year. It didn't work. Why would you do that again? And like, whether it's Joe Flacco or Joe Burrow, it doesn't matter. Whatever Joe you want to put back there, they can score 40 points and still lose a game. That's incredible. Because of that defense. Speaking of defense, look at that defense for the Steelers today. Strip sack, just rip the ball out. Rip the ball straight out of Daniel Jones's hands. Look at that. Joe Flacco, first career game with 400 passing yards. Still couldn't get the job done. By the way, it's worth mentioning as well. There's some big stuff going on the field tonight. Art Monk is being inducted into the Hall of Fame. So he's being honored on the field. 2008 Pro Football Hall of Fame, 3-time Super Bowl champion. He's been inducted. I don't know why is he on the field? What's going on? Not sure, but man, doesn't it suck when you have a some kind of we're honoring Super Bowl 50 and you're down 31-0 to the Jets or something? It's like, maybe today wasn't the best day. All right, let me go do specials, all right? Sam Darnold to complete his first 25 passes. Sam Darnold, 7 passing touchdowns, NFL record. How many does he have right now? 4? No, they're going to bench him. Let's see. I'm going to tell you which one of these sounds good. Jackson Smith in Jigba to record 10 receiving yards in each quarter. Yeah, but they might bench him. Jackson Smith to record 50 yards receiving in each half. Jackson Smith to record 15 receiving yards in each quarter. Jackson Smith and Jigba and Deebo Samuel to combine for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jackson Smith and Jigba to record 2 receptions in each quarter, plus 650? I'll do that one. JSN to record 2 receptions in each quarter is at plus 650 on FanDuel. 2 catches. 2 catches. Deebo and Jackson Smith and Jigba to combine for 300 receiving yards. I like that too. $5 wins 150. $10 wins 300. I'm going to do that because they're going to have to rely heavily on Deebo. All right. And let's say JSN has 80 yards in the second half. That would put, let's see. Let's see. Quick bets. Alternate spread. Let's see. I think this final score of this game is going to be 50. I think it's going to be 52 to 27. 52 to 27. Oh, you can actually bet on the score. Let me see. Scoring. FanDuel final score. Total points. Team to score last. Total touchdowns scored. Total touchdown bans. What does 4 or 5 touchdown bans mean? What's a touchdown bans? All right, here we go. So I need JSN and Sam Darnold to have 90 yards passing in this quarter. and JSN to have, what is it, 90 yards passing in the third quarter, JSN 40 yards receiving in the third quarter. Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. A lot of guys on the field. Here we go. First, it's going to be 1 yard short. 1 yard short. Here we go. 31-7. I don't know how hyped the crowd's going to be in the second half here. Incomplete. Where's the penalty? Well, the defense did exactly what you need. Really? You're going to run it? Good run. I feel like I don't feel like they need to get one-dimensional, but I feel like they need to be one-dimensional until they score their next touchdown. There we go. Zach Ertz. All right. I just need 5 more yards from Ertz. Think about it. If the Commanders score and their defense gets another stop and they score, we could go into the fourth quarter and it's 21-31. Imagine you're at work. You just got off work, right? You come home and you're like, oh, maybe I can catch the rest of Monday Night Football. You turn the TV on and it says Seattle 31, Commanders 21. You would have no idea. You know, you would be like, oh, wow, we got a good game. So to think that the Commanders score on this drive and all they have to do is score one more time before this quarter ends, and it would be 21-31. Like, there's plenty of time. Never mind. Jaden, man. Jaden's scared. Bro, he's scared. All right. Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? There we go. Man, I need something to drink. 1 second. Hey, honey. Is there anything to drink? Oh, yeah, there's lemonade, right? I know. It's like coming over here. I know it wasn't. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Woody. Ooh, a late flag. Oh, yeah. Luigi. Here we go. Kenneth Walker. Gain of nothing. The commies are selling my hate watch. Did the government shutdown cut the Commander's secondary funding? That's hilarious. Woody, that flag was quite late. Great comment, Nick. Great comment. It's even funnier because it's like Washington, D.C. Love that dog. All right. $10 minutes. We've already lost 5 minutes of the third quarter. Damn it. What are you eating? What did you find? I hear you down there. I hear you down there. What did you find? Oh, yeah, I see you. Here we go. Ooh. Horton took a hit. There you go. There you go. There you go. Got a little chair next to me. You got a little chair. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. Here we go. Sam Darnold looking. Intercepted. Dang. I could have gotten the comeback started a long time ago. I just needed to bet on Sam Darnold. And he will forget how to play football. Dude, Darnold, that is such a bad throw. It's behind. It's not even a good throw. Like, he threw it behind his receiver. See, Sam Darnold, as good as he has played, he's good for a couple of these a game. I don't know why. Here is Deebo Samuel. He's going to run it. The Darnold meltdown has begun. It seems the Senate has passed the bill allowing Commander CBS to return to work. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. Daniels looking. And he's going to get held up. Oh. You are just so cute. You are just the cutest little thing. 3rd and 1, and they pick up the first down. Whew. Are you cold? Are you cold? Here you go. Let me give you, how about some Broncos? How about some Broncos clothes? Give you that. In this Patrick Surtain jersey. And we'll give you this one. And this one. And then we'll give you this. And there you go. I just doused my dog in all of the Broncos things I own to keep him warm. It seems like Joe Biden brought his squad to play for the commies. The Biden favorite. The Commodores' offense tonight can be summarized by the clip of Biden falling down the Air Force One step slowly. I was thinking the sign after repeat sentence. End speech. All right. 6 minutes and 40 seconds. False start. Bottom of the screen. I think that was Luke McCaffrey. That was Ertz. Zach Ertz went off first, and that's what made. Yeah, that's what made. He goes out. Oh no, that was Zach Ertz. Okay. I'm not used to seeing Zach Ertz play that spot. Was that the X position? Where is he now? Okay, yeah, that's where I'm used to seeing him. Right there is an extra lineman. Off the ball. On the ball. Damn. Jaden. Does he not have the magic in it, the magic he had last year? To be fair, he fell up the stairs. Maybe that's the commie strategy. I gotta be honest. The fact that the Commanders, short for the Commanders is commies. I would be so mad if that was my team. Jeez, another just desperate attempt to throw the ball with a flag down, pass batted. What is this? Is this gonna be holding? Chop block? It's on the offense, and the penalties decline. That was the running back. That was McNichols. Wait, what is it that he can't do once the tackle's engaged? He can't come up and block him? Wow. It would have been 3rd and 30. I mean, if you had a real kicker, you could kick the field goal, make it a 21-point game. Jaden stepping up, running. Why would you take off and run? Why would you take off and run instead of throw the ball? You were going to get tackled after that anyway. Throw the freaking ball. Why wouldn't you throw it up? I don't understand that. Man. Drew Lock type decision making. I don't understand that. Like it's 4th and 15. Like going on a 6-yard scramble, not an option. And if it is an option, we need to go back to like the fundamentals. I don't know what to tell you. Like what? And also, who's their kicker? Why can't they kick a 60-yard field goal? Commanders kicker. Matthew Wright to fill in for Matt Gay. He was ruled out. He was ruled out last week against the Chiefs. Now, let me see. Let's see. Let's go add player. Matthew Wright. He must have 2 T's or some bull crap. Matthew Wright. Yep, 2 T's. Kicker. And Seattle Commanders released Matthew Wright. It's a good sign for Matt Gay's availability for Week 9. The Commanders released Wright from their practice squad on Tuesday. They released Matthew Wright on Tuesday. So that when I Googled who their kicker is, it said Matthew Wright. Oh my gosh! There's a flag down, but Charbonnet. So Matthew Gay. Penalty declined. Yep. So Matt Gay is the kicker tonight. Doesn't have an injury designation. Okay. So Matt Gay is the kicker tonight. So Matt Gay career field goals over 55 yards. His longest is 58 yards. Run to the left. Okay. Matt Gay's career. Now I'm reading AI, so take this I'm going to do the dive deeper in AI mode because as of November 2nd, Matt Gay has made at least 5 field goals of 55 yards or more in his NFL career. His longest to date was 58 yards, which he's done twice. Here's a breakdown of his field goals from 50-plus yards in the regular season. 2019 against Tampa Bay, 58 yards. The Rams, he was on the Rams for 2020, 2021, 2022. So he won a Super Bowl. Another quick out route. Yeah, he definitely won a ring with the Rams in 2021. And then 2022, he went 7 from 9, but hit a 58-yarder again. But that's his max, 58 yards. So I don't really understand. Where were they at? They were at like the 47-yard line. Yes! Smith and Jigba. Good. He's got a $129. Sam Darnold, perfect for the first half. Let's see. Holding. Damn it. Face mask. Let's see. Why did they tell me everything besides how many yards he had? Here it is. Sam Darnold at halftime. 16 for 16, 282 yards. 282. 282. Sam Darnold now has 330. So I need him to have like 30 more. So 330 yards, 282. So 20 plus 30. So he only has 48 passing yards in the second half. I needed him to have 90. So I need 42 passing yards. I'm going to need the Commanders to come out and throw an incompletion, another incompletion, and another incompletion. And the Commanders get the ball one more time. And Sam Darnold probably run it on first down, and hopefully they snap it on second down and hit JSN. Damn. You think if they score here, they might not even play Sam Darnold in the fourth quarter. Incomplete. AJ Barner. Nutso play by Darnold. Are they sure they made the right decision? That last kicker was so gay. The Hawks should throw that rookie they drafted out and see what he's got. Which rookie? Oh, you're talking about the kid from Alabama. Damn. I actually I actually like that kid. What the hell is his name? He was actually last year. He was my favorite quarterback. Oh, what is his name? I can find it really quick because I drafted him on one of my mocks. Touchdown, Barner. Push, snap. 2024. Oh, wait, no, I guess it was the 2025. Quarterbacks. Jalen Milroe. Yeah, Jalen Milroe. No, I loved it. I loved it because this dude is insanely fast. Remember, but like people are like, yeah, I don't know why people like will build comps that aren't even remotely accurate. People kept comping him to Tua. I guess because he's another quarterback that played at Alabama, but like, yeah, I just see him as like more of a Tua. I'm like, Tua's not 6'2". This guy's 6'2" and runs a 4.340. That's insane. He had 20 rushing touchdowns. He had 20 rushing touchdowns last year at in his last year, his senior year at Alabama. He had 36 total touchdowns, 3,000, almost 3,600 passing yards, 20 rushing touchdowns, was ranked second in the nation. But his growth as a passer, especially on deep throws, was where he posted an elite 96.5 grade. And he had signature performance against Georgia, 491 total yards, and LSU. He had 15 yards per carry, rushing for 4 touchdowns. On the field, Milroe cemented his legacy by capturing college football's top academic honor, the William V. Campbell Trophy. His journey from backup to centerpiece of Alabama's offense showcases remarkable resilience. I love everything about this kid, man. And the thing I look at the most, the thing I care about the most, right? You could have a player that's right here, right? Think of Caleb Williams as a sophomore. It was like, oh my God, this guy is God's greatest gift to the world. Like, let's say his hype was here and his actual talent, not his hype, but just like how good he is here. If there's a quarterback that as a freshman is here, and then as a sophomore is here, and then as a junior goes here, even though he's still under this guy, I'm taking him. If this guy was here as a sophomore and as a junior and as a senior, because nobody felt like Caleb got better from his sophomore to his junior to his senior year. Nobody felt that way. But what I loved about Jaden the most was that he went from being good to really good to the Heisman Trophy winner, having 50 total touchdowns as a senior. And I'm thinking, you look at that and you go, this guy is getting better every single year. And what I look at more than anything is which quarterback is taking the biggest steps year to year. Because there's no reason to believe like, oh, once he gets to the NFL, he's just going to stop taking steps. But if there's a quarterback that hasn't really grown in 3 years, he's really great, but he hasn't gotten better in a while. That's usually the type of quarterback that's just relying on his gifts. There's no reason to not be getting better when you're in college. You should be getting better every year. So Jalen Milroe has it all, man. Academic, resilience. I'm a backup. I'm not going to transfer. I'm going to stay here. 4'3", 6'2", big arm. I mean, this guy can throw the ball 80 yards. I was surprised, honestly, he wasn't taken sooner. All right. $126 left. Debo, nowhere. Ooh, there's a flag. There's a flag. There's no foul on the play. Second down. Here we go, Jaden. Quick throw. Let's see, 38-7. So they get a touchdown before this half ends. It's a 24-point game, which is only a 3-possession game if they can get their 2-point conversions, but they got to score quick. You got to go into the fourth quarter at a 3-possession game. Daniels, dude, get dang it. Throw an incompletion. Now it's the fourth quarter. All right, so what did we get? Jaden Daniels, 40 yards throwing in the third quarter. Debo Samuel and Jackson Smith and Jigba to combine for 300 passing yards. Let's see. Jackson Smith and Jigba. To combine for 300 receiving yards. Okay. Let's see. Stats. Receiving 130 yards. Debo. Receiving 36. So 130 plus 100 or plus 36 is 200 or 100 and 160. So you had 130 plus 36. So 165. So they've combined for 165. Geez, I still need 135 yards between the both of them to win $300. But how many catches did JSN have in the second quarter? I mean, in the third quarter. Sunday night football versus the Commanders. What was his halftime line? JSN at halftime. Damn, he only had one catch. Bastard. He only had one catch in the third quarter. All right. Well, let's see. I mean, let's see what the punter's name is. Gay? Wait, their punter and their kicker's gay? uh, their punter and their kicker's gay? God, grow up. How did that? That is so trippy. I was changing I was changing my background and I I the picture I just took is the exact same picture of the current background. Exactly 21 or exactly 20 minutes separated. That was so weird. I went back and I'm like, "Whoa, there's the picture I just took. Look, this is what I came back to. This is the picture that I just took." We have 1 quarter for the rest of our lives. 1 quarter for the rest of our life. This is looking pretty good. The New England Patriots to win their division, which based on their record, they should. Based on their record, they should. I mean, not their record, their opponents. Like, seriously, if they can't win their division with the opponents that they are playing, they're one and done in the playoffs. Because nobody has it easier. Remember, 17 opponents. Well, if you take divisions out, then there's 13 opponents, but 13 opponents, only 2 with a winning record out of their remaining games. It's Buffalo and the Buccaneers. JSN. What, JSN's not even on the field? Oh, well, it's first down. Here's a handoff. They're going to run it inside. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, JSN, Marvin Harrison, Emeka Ibuka. First school to have a wide receiver drafted in the first round in 4 straight years. And Jeremiah Smith next year. Add it to the list. 2nd and 6. Handoff again. And Seahawks are just being ultra conservative. Honestly, the way that the Seahawks are playing this, they're getting so conservative. They're getting so conservative here. I think the Commanders are going to win the fourth quarter. Yeah, I just went. Seattle's not even going to try to score anymore. Plus 500. Looks the odds still plus 510. Look, Zach Ertz to have 24 yards receiving. Jaden Daniels. Oh, but they could pull him. They could pull him out of the game, I guess. Jaden Daniels to have 50 yards passing, and the Commanders to win the fourth quarter. Well, I hope they don't bench him. Deebo Samuel, 8,000. Let's see. What's the best looking thing right now? Well, hopefully they keep their starters out there for one more series. Because we got some backdoor covering to do. I went Zach Ertz to have 4 more receiving yards. Deebo to have 4 more receiving yards. Bill to have 1 more rushing yards. Jaden Daniels to have 9 more rushing yards. $2 pays out 17. Then we had Zach Ertz to have 14 more receiving yards. Jaden Daniels to have 50 passing yards. Commanders to win the fourth quarter to win 30. And those two together would win right around $50. And then another one, Zach Ertz, 20 yards receiving in the fourth and 55 yards passing. And Jaden to have 175 yards wins 15. So technically it could win around $70 if they go on one decent drive here. I need one decent drive. Yay, he's still out there. And you know the Seahawks, they might just give up a ton of yards here. They're not going to play their starters. Is that Witherspoon? There's Bill. Yes, there's the 1 more yard. All right, I got my 1 yard. All right, Zach Ertz, Deebo Samuel. I need 4 yards each. And then Jaden, I need you to scamper for 9. That is the nastiest fucking thing Sunday Night Football's ever done. They just zoomed in on his purple ass tongue. That was gross as shit. I'm gonna have to screenshot that. Oh, God, that's disgusting. Ew. Gain of 1. Oh. God, that was gross. Halloween. What did he do? What was the taunting? Yeah, I mean, look, calling the penalty on that, it's just probably to reduce fighting. Run! Jaden, run! Traylon Burks. Denver brought him in for a workout, and he left without a deal. Caught. He looked like he got hurt on that play. All right, Jaden Daniels. Remember where Debo is. Yeah, Debo. 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's 4 yards. Boom. All right. Now we just need Zach Ertz. Best records in the NFC: Eagles 6-2, Bucks 6-2, Rams 6-2, Packers 5-2-1. What are you doing? Why are you guys running the ball? Throw it. You're losing by 31 points. It's a 4-possession game. You're running the clock out on yourself. What if you scored a touchdown, got the 2-point conversion, they muff the kickoff or get punched out and you score and go for 2? It would have been a 2-possession game. Jaden Daniels now with 153 passing yards. Come on. Let's go. Why are they running the clock? I don't understand. If you're waving the white flag, then why is your starters in? I don't understand. Jaden's hurt. I just said that. Why was he even in the game? Which one is it? You're running the clock out because you're waving the white flag, then you run the quarterback. What are you doing? What the hell is he out there for? You're not even trying to win the game. He's a fragile freaking quarterback. He's been dealing with injuries all day. Why is he out there? He broke his arm. He just broke his arm. Jaden just broke his arm. For nothing. Jaden just broke his arm for absolutely nothing. for absolutely nothing. It's 38-7. I just got done saying, you're running the clock out. Why are you running the football? It's a 4-possession game if you get the 2-point conversion all 4 times. And then I said, if you scored a touchdown, you kick the ball off, and somehow the ball gets punched out, and you score a quick touchdown and go for 2 and get it, all of a sudden you're down 16 points, and you're going to be kicking yourself that you were running the clock out. But forget it. You gave up because you're running the clock. You're running the ball. You're not throwing it. You're not even trying to preserve time. But why is Jaden in the game if that's what you're doing? If you're at a point in the game where you go, it's 38-7, we're not coming back into this game, then why is Jaden on the field? It makes no sense. And then one play later, he breaks his freaking arm. For what? For nothing. You're not trying to win the game. What is it? What am I missing? What are you guys actually doing? If you're out there, you're waving the white flag. You said, we're not even trying to mount a comeback. Let's just get out of here. Finish that sentence. Let's just get out of here. You know exactly what the rest of that sentence is without an injury. Well, I'll tell you what the best way to go about doing that, if that's what your goal is, to not have your quarterback who's been injured all year on the freaking field. This is day one stuff, man. This is day one stuff. I'm not even a Commanders fan, and I'm livid right now because it makes no sense. Like, we're not trying to win the game, but we're going to leave Jaden Daniels out there on the field for the meaningless snaps that are left in this game. We're running the clock out. We're going to run the clock out. But we're still going to call passing plays once in a while. And now your season's done. It's over. You're not even going to the playoffs this year. You're not even going to the playoffs. Terrible decision. Terrible decision by Dan Quinn. If you're running the clock, why is Jaden Daniels in the game? Yet again, another young quarterback that coaching has ended their season way too young. We know all about RG3. The Commanders try to play it conservative. Remember, Jaden Daniels and Dan Quinn had a little confrontation when it came to not starting him. Dan Quinn thought he was doing the right thing when he sat Jaden out. They asked Jaden why he wasn't starting. He said, talk to the coach. Talk to Dan Quinn. You know, I don't know why I'm not cleared to play. And that told us, hey, Dan's playing this conservative, trying to protect his quarterback. Then he goes ahead and does the opposite of that. I feel bad for the guy because we've seen a different version of him. I don't know if he got just lost in the game. I don't know if he just got confused with, but it doesn't matter. It's unexcusable. And now Commander fans are probably going to say, oh, our season's over now. Bro, your season was over when it was 31-7 at half. Your season's been over. This isn't why you're not going to the playoffs. Don't get it twisted. No pun intended. Sorry. That was not on purpose. Don't get it twisted. You guys aren't going to the playoffs because you have been a shell of what you were this year. You guys were not like this last year. You were not like this. You guys were a really good team. I don't know even where the Commanders go from here because they were at an NFC Championship game this year. They ran it 31 times a game last year. They were a strong rushing team. This year, they're running it 26 times a game. They can't run the football the way they did last year because they're playing from behind so much. This defense is not what it was last year. You see this team this year, they're 27th in the league, giving up 372 yards per game. Last year, the Commanders were 16th, 341 yards per game. They had a better defense. They ran the football better. That's why the attempts are down because they're giving up more points. I mean, we talk about the amount of points per game the Commanders are giving up this year. It's bad, right? 25 points per game, but lately it's been on the higher side. And then you go to last year, and it was 24.9. So you're like, what's the difference, right? They're giving up the same amount of points. 24.9 last year. This year, 24.8. So why does it feel so much different? And the answer is simple. 334 total yards per game. Last year, the Commanders, they were top 5 in the NFL. Baltimore, Detroit, Tampa, 49ers, and Commanders. That was the top 5 best offenses in the NFL. The Commanders and the 49ers were nearly neck and neck, 376, 373 yards per game. So they gave up the same amount of points. They gave up a little less yards, but it wasn't like, it wasn't an insurmountable thing. It was just they don't have that offense. They just don't have the offense this year. They're not even close to being a top 5 offense. I mean, last year, Washington was only 0.2 away from Philly. 29 points per game for Philly. Washington, 28.8. That's elite. Detroit, Buffalo, Baltimore, Tampa, Philly, Washington. Those are all playoff teams. Detroit and Buffalo, Baltimore, Tampa Bay, Philly, Washington. I mean, that's like, those are the people, those are the elites when it comes to the offense. And then this year, Washington, they're with Minnesota and Jacksonville and Arizona and the Giants, 22, 23 points per game. They're not with Indianapolis and Dallas, Detroit, Buffalo, Seattle. So this is going to be back to the drawing board. Back to the drawing board. The season's over. You can officially remove the Commanders from your playoff brackets. There will be no second half comeback. The NFC is way too complicated for that. That is not happening this year. And that's crazy because they were a Super Bowl favorite coming into this year. And now the team that just beat them is probably going to be some people's Super Bowl favorite. All right. This is going to knock the Commanders to a 3-6 record, which is going to put them, where are they going to go to? 3-6. That's going to knock them to that's going to knock them to the 14th seed. There's only 2 spots worse, Giants and Saints. The Saints have only won 1 game. The Giants have won 2, and then it's Commanders. Could you believe that we would be past the midpoint of the season and the Saints would only have 1 win? You'd believe that. What if I said the Giants have 2? You'd believe that. And what if I said the Commanders are going to be 1 game ahead of the Giants, taking the number 14 seed in the NFC? You would be shocked. You would be absolutely shocked. But that's where we're at this year. There is no comeback when you have, teams like, look, the Bears are 5-3, and they're on the outside looking in. The Lions are 5-3. They're the number 7 seed. I think they might be the best team in the NFL. I know they lost today. It's a week-to-week league. Like I said, I don't adjust my power rankings every time a team loses. If I see a trend or something that's concerning, I do. But I knew when the Lions lost to the Chiefs that they weren't playing their style of football. They got taken out of their element. But I'm like, that's not the Lions. I know who the Lions are, and then they showed you right away who they are. And embarrassed. I forgot who it was, but a team that came in, I think it was on prime time. I think it was the Bucks. Yeah, it was Tampa Bay. And then everyone was like, "Oh, okay, the Lions are good again," after knocking them down. I don't do that with my power rankings. The Lions are the 7th seed, and I think that's probably the best team. I think they're the best team in the NFC. It's like Lions and Seahawks. The Seahawks are the 5 seed. The 49ers are the 6 seed. And the 49ers are 6-3. Then you have the Packers, then the Rams and the Bucks, who are 6-2 on their bye week, and the Eagles, who are on a bye week at 6-2. So, I don't even see a spot for the Bears. I don't see a spot for the Bears, Panthers, Vikings, Cowboys, Falcons, Commanders, Cardinals, Giants, and Saints. And this is one of those really rare scenarios where we're at week 9, and I'm like, yeah, the NFC picture, take a snapshot. That's your playoffs. And I'm not saying the seeding. I actually don't think the seeding is going to look like this. But I do think that these teams are going to be shuffled around, but this is it. These are your 7 playoff teams right now. I don't see the Bears squeaking in. The NFC is too tough, man. The NFC is too tough. And I know if you're a Bears fan, you're probably like, man, that's bullcrap. You guys gave up almost 50 points to the fucking Bengals, okay? If the Bengals didn't have the absolute biggest choke, it was like Minneapolis Miracle level of choke, you guys, you would be a 5-4 team coming off an embarrassing loss. Don't talk to me about the playoffs right now. And the Panthers, they're the only team that I'm like, they could keep fighting. The Panthers are made up of some really good stuff, man. And I really do believe that the Panthers can go on a run and compete with Tampa Bay. I think they can compete with Tampa Bay for real. Can't believe what we saw with Jaden Daniels, man. It makes me so mad. I can't believe that one play before that happened, I was like, why is he in the game if you're not even trying to win it? You're running the clock out. What the hell is Jaden Daniels doing in the game? And he breaks his arm on the next play. Man. background. All right, well, there it is. Your current playoff seeding. This is what we're dealing with right now. This is what we're looking at. All right. The Colts are the number 1 seed. We'll see what happens with 1, 2, and 3. Okay. I'm going to make a case for each team, but first, I want to pull up the Colts schedule and tell you what they have coming up. So, for the Texans, they're pretty much where the Commanders are. Okay. The Commanders are 3-5. They're dropping to 3-6. The Texans are 3-5 because they lost to Denver today. So I look at the Texans and the Commanders in a very similar spot, but the Texans, they haven't had tonight's loss. The Commanders lost tonight. That was you're done. The Texans are going to be playing with desperation from here on out. Okay. Now that doesn't mean that they're going to start winning, right? The Commanders were desperate today. It didn't look like it counted for anything. If anything, they looked worse. They looked awful tonight. So being desperate alone doesn't make you all of a sudden a good team. It just means that you're not going to catch the Texans sleeping from now until the end of the year. All right. So the Colts, they're going to be playing a pretty, I would say an easy opponent next week, but it's in Madrid, right? Madrid. It's in Germany. It's against the Falcons, who I consider a wild card, right? Falcons are the Uno wild card. Are you going to get the 40-0, or are you going to get the upset? I forget who they upsetted, but they've beat some good teams, and I think they. Let me pull it up really quick. Who the hell have the Falcons upset? It's at the tip of my tongue. I can't. They almost beat the Bucks. They lost by 3. They beat the Commanders, the Bills. That's who I was thinking of. The Bills. All right. They beat the Bills. So like, which Falcons are you getting next week? All right. Is this loss to the Steelers today? Did they lose their mojo? Because they did lose in a way where Jonathan Taylor didn't have his normal day, which I think actually helps them. You can lose your mojo if like the Colts did what they always do and it didn't work for once. You can lose your mojo that way. But I think the Colts, the message all week is going to be, let's get back to what we did, well the previous weeks, which was Jonathan Taylor. If you do that well in it and you still lose, you're in that lose your mojo possibility. But I wouldn't say the Colts lost their mojo. they got away from themselves. If anything, they just weren't even themselves today. So we'll see what happens next week. I think they're going to get back on the ground game, and we're going to have a really good Bijan versus Jonathan Taylor, and whichever running back has the better day probably wins this game. But it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be tough, all right? Because after that, they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. And we know the Chiefs are going on a bye right now after a loss. And when they come out of the bye week, they're going to play the Colts. And the Chiefs are just not a team you want to play coming out of a bye. And then it's going to be Texans. Like I just said, the Texans are in desperation mode. Okay? And their next games are just as important. They're playing the Jaguars. Okay? Now let's say hypothetically, okay, they get the win over the Jags next week. The week after that, they play the Titans. Okay? Let's say they get that win. All of a sudden, the Houston Texans are going to be 5-5. Okay? If they just win those 2 games, they're going to be 5-5. But after that, they're playing the Bills. And this will be a big game. Okay? This is going to feel like a playoff game. It may not feel that way for the Bills, and that is why the Texans could get this win. Remember, this game is on Sunday Night Football in Houston. They've clawed their way back to 500, and now if they win this game, they have officially put themselves back in the playoff picture. Maybe not statistically, maybe not physically. They may still be on the outside looking in with a 5-5 record, but that's not the point. The point is the Texans have restored belief and confidence. They've won 3 in a row, with the final one being against the Buffalo Bills on primetime. And all of a sudden, that Colts-Texans game the week after becomes the Colts have to play us. It is no longer we have to play them. But the Jaguars, Titans, they could just put the knife in the heart, just like the Commanders had it done to them tonight. But I don't think they will. I think the Texans are a good enough football team that they're going to win those 2, and we'll see what happens against Buffalo. But I do believe that this will be an interesting opportunity, because if they beat Buffalo in primetime, they're going to be a 6-5 football team going on to play the Colts. And the Colts, let's say they beat Atlanta. They take care of business and they get the win over Atlanta. It's like awesome. They're 8-2. Okay. But let's say they drop one to Kansas City. All right. All of a sudden they're 8-3. And then they hit their bye week, right? After Kansas City. Because that Texans game is going to be on November 30th. So 10 days between those 2 games, which means that November 20th Bills-Texans game, that must be a Thursday night football game. November 20th, I would bet you it's a Thursday night game, isn't it? What the hell? Let me pull up my schedule, and I'll tell you. The 30th the 20th is a Thursday. So the Bills-Texans game, that's prime time. I put like a playoff game, that's Thursday night. Okay? That would put the Texans at 6-5. Now, let's stay focused. Atlanta, Colts get the win. Let's say they play the Chiefs and they lose. Chiefs are coming off of a bye week after losing to Buffalo today. The Colts would drop to 8-3. Then they play the Texans. Okay? And this is a huge game. This is a very, very big game, because after the Bills game, They have 10 days. The Texans have 10 days to prepare for the Colts. Okay. So, Texans, I'm going to make a little note 10 days to prepare for Colts. Okay. Now, this is the part of the season where the Colts can go from a Super Bowl contender to people. Now, I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying the truth. Oh, they were the fluke team that was, the Pittsburgh Steelers last year, 10-2, lost their final 6 in a row. This is the part of the season where things get weird. If the Colts are really who we think they are, they're going to win these football games. But if they're not careful and they lose to Kansas City after beating Atlanta next week, and they go and play this Texans team who's coming off a win on Thursday night against Buffalo to put themselves, and by the way, this game's in Houston at home. They win this game. They're 6-5. They have a winning record again. They've won 3 in a row, and they've had extra time to prepare for you, the Colts. And what are the Colts doing? They're coming off a loss to the Chiefs. Does that help? Does that favor the Colts? I don't know. But what I do know is that if the Texans win that game, the Colts are going to drop to 8-4. And it will be at that point that Houston will be 1 game back. Houston will be 1 game back. If they beat the Bills, right? They're going to be 6-5, right? Because how many losses do they have right now? Texans have 5 losses. All right. So they'll be 6-5 if they beat the Bills. And then the week after they play the Colts. So they would be 7-5 and the Colts would be 8-4. That's how easy it can happen. That's it. Right now, it feels like the Colts are done. They beat Jacksonville and they beat the Tennessee Titans. And all of a sudden, this Bills game on Thursday night in Houston feels like a playoff game because the Texans win. Number 1, they've beaten a really good opponent. Number 2, they've won it on primetime in front of the world. Number 3, they have taken their record for the first time this year over 500, more wins than losses. Number 4, they can use that plus the extra rest to catapult themselves to the Colts. It's really hard to play a game against Buffalo and win an emotional game, and it feels like a playoff game because this will feel like a playoff game if Houston wins against Jacksonville and Tennessee. It's hard to win a game like that and in 6 days turn around and play the Colts, but they just happen to have 10 days to prepare for the Colts. So they have enough time to be like, yeah, we're really that team. We're going back to the playoffs. CJ Stroud's believing the offense is starting to click. We're getting some guys back. This defense, I saw them today. They're the best in the league. And all of a sudden, you beat the Colts in this game. And it's like, what really happened? The Texans had 2 good games, and all of a sudden, they're 1 game back from the Colts. Yes, that's exactly how fast it happens. But don't worry, Colts fans, because the week after that, Houston, they're going to play the Chiefs. All right? They're going to play the Chiefs. And I do think that's what's going to happen. I think you're going to have a 7-5 Houston team. And I think you're going to have an 8-4 Indy team. And then it's going to be the Chiefs. And then for the Indianapolis Colts, after they play Houston, they're playing the Jaguars. Okay? But don't laugh yet. Because although I have that Jags game is going to be huge. I'm not kidding. This is going to be in Jacksonville, but ultimately, like this is the make it or break it point. All right. Mark my words. We're going to find out what the Colts are December 7th. Because whether or not the Colts lose or win, to the Chiefs and the Texans doesn't change that much. If they win those games, and they just continue to confirm what we think now. But if what I think is going to happen happens, all right, they beat the Falcons, and then all of a sudden they lose to a Chiefs team who's coming off a bye. Then the Texans, with extra rest, get the job done. It's just one game, right? It doesn't seem like much, but all of a sudden, if the Colts drop one to the Jags, they've now lost 3 in a row, and they have to play the Seahawks and the 49ers next. And that is why their season will be done. It's not because of the Jags. It's because when you have the Seahawks and 49ers as your next 2 opponents, and you're already coming off a 2 loss, losing 2 in a row, and sandwiched in between losing 2 in a row and playing the Seahawks and 49ers is this Jacksonville game, a divisional game in Jacksonville on the road, a respectable team under Liam Cohen. And the Jags are going to be playing for something too. Like, don't think the Jags are just going to be like, they're not even playing for nothing. They're going to be hanging around. I don't think they're going to be a serious contender, but they're going to be a team that if you're not really taking them serious, you lose. And all of a sudden, the Jaguars could fall right there to 8-5. I don't think they do. I think they get the win. Okay. And then the week after that, they play the Seahawks. And that's why I said don't laugh now about the Texans playing the Chiefs. Because it's going to be Seahawks, 49ers, and then guess what? You're playing Jags again. Jacksonville's winning one of these games. Okay? Jacksonville's winning one of them. So take your pick. For simple math, I'm going to say Jacksonville wins the home and the Colts win their home. Okay? But if Indy wins their home game or loses their away game to Jacksonville, they're going to drop to 8-5. Okay? Houston, I think, is going to also lose to the Chiefs, and they're going to drop to 7-6. Okay? So far, so good. So after the Houston Texans play the Chiefs, then the Houston Texans are going to be playing the Arizona Cardinals. Great timing, right? And then the Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders and Cardinals, those are 2 wins. That's a win. That's a win, which means they're going to be 9-6. We got the Jags winning against the Colts, and then they have to play the Seattle Seahawks and the 49ers. I think they're going to lose to Seattle. They're going to drop to 8-6. And the reason this is crazy is because that would mean 1-2. They would be on a 4-game losing streak. Okay? They would be on a 4-game losing streak. And as long as they beat the 49ers the week after that, which I have them splitting it. I don't know if they beat Seattle and lose to the Niners, or if they lose to the Niners and they beat the Seahawks, but I have a split there, okay? So I'm going to say they beat the 49ers. They get the job done, okay? They play a lot of tough opponents, but this is when they finally get their nose above water after this ridiculous stretch of games that they've had to play. Because remember, the Colts at this point have lost to the Chiefs, the Texans, the Jaguars on the road, the Seahawks, and they have a home game against the Niners, and they haven't been at home at this point in almost a month. The Colts haven't been at home. So I feel like the crowd is going to be like super into this, right? You're at the point of the season where there's only 3 football games left. If you really want to be a playoff team, like at this point, you've lost 4 games in a row, and the Colts their fans are going to think, well, that's because nobody's played here at Lucas Oil. This is going to be a playoff atmosphere against the 49ers, especially with what's going on across the country with Houston beating Arizona and the Raiders in back-to-back weeks, because all of a sudden, if the if the Colts don't beat the Niners, the Colts will fall to second in the division, and the Texans will take first place at 9-6. But I have the Colts getting this win. I have the Colts getting the win, and they're going to be a 9-6 team. And then they're going to play at home again against Jacksonville. And guess what? The Colts are going to win that one too. The Colts are going to win that one too. And that's the good news, is that they're going to win 2 games in a row. Okay. Now for the Texans, after they play the Raiders, they have to play the Chargers. Okay. The LA Chargers. And this is crazy because I have them losing to the Chargers, right? And if they lose to the Chargers, this is like a really big deal, okay? Because we already established that the frickin' Colts have, at this point in the season, lost to the Texans once on November 30th. So they have no margin for error, but the Texans play the Chargers, and a lose there would put them at 9-7, a 9-7 record. Now, I will add Joe Alt was injured again today, so I don't feel like the Chargers are going to be a juggernaut by any means, but let's say the Chargers win this game because the Chargers are at home. So you're going to have the Colts, who are at 10-6 after beating the Jags, and you're going to have the Houston Texans at 9-7 after losing to the Chargers. And then week 18, you're going to have the Colts versus the Texans for the division. That will be for the division. January 4th, 2026. The Colts win that game, and Houston will fall to 9-8. Okay? 9-8 if Colts win. But 10-7 each with Houston win. Houston wins against you guys. You're both going to be 10-7. It's going to come down to the tiebreaker, and the Texans will be able to say, well, we beat them twice. We have the tiebreaker. So that's how I see this whole thing panning out. Remember, the Colts are on January 4th. That game's going to be in Houston on the road. Texans needing a win to get in the playoffs. But that is how easy this thing will come down to the wire. I do have both teams finishing 10-7 probably. Now, if the Colts find a way to win against the Chiefs, and I think at that point it's like, okay, forget it. But I think with their loss today with the Steelers, I think it showed you that we can't just say like, yeah, the Colts are going to beat the Chiefs, they're going to beat the Seahawks, and they're not going to struggle with the Texans at all. Like, I think this is more to the 10-7, 10-7 in November 30th. If the Colts lose that game, it could be their ticket out of the postseason, because you would need to beat the Texans in Houston in order to put yourself in the playoffs. And the Texans know if they win that game, they'll take you out of the playoffs, because 10-7, it may be good enough for a wild card spot, but you're not going to win your division. And it may be possible that the Colts and Texans are actually going to play each other 3 times this year, and one of them will be in the playoffs. Because at 10-7, you're looking at, one of those teams is going to be the 4 seed probably, because I think whoever wins the AFC West is going to have more than 10 wins. The same thing is true for the AFC East. The Patriots and the Bills will both be over 10 wins. The Colts and the Texans will be at 10 wins each, which means who's left? The Steelers and the Ravens. The Ravens will have no problem. The Ravens will have no problem. All right. And let's take a look at the Ravens now, okay? The Ravens schedule. The Ravens, they're going to go on a little run here where they're going to play the Vikings, the Browns, the Jets, the Bengals, Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, Ravens, Steelers. So right now, the Ravens currently have a 3-5 record. So, they can lose 2 more games and still finish with a 10-7 record. The thing is they only have 2 difficult games on the schedule, really. Let's say they split the Steelers. Let's say the Steelers win 1, that they normally do. And let's say between the Patriots and Packers, the Ravens win 1 of those. And then the Ravens beat the Bengals twice, the Browns, the Jets, and the Vikings. They'll be a 10-win team. Okay? And all the Ravens have to do is split Steelers and win either Green Bay or New England and beat, Vikings, Minnesota, New York Jets, Cleveland, Cincinnati times 2, and that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. So the Ravens get to 10 wins as long as they split with the Steelers and win either the Green Bay game or the Patriots game. And then they beat Cincinnati twice, the Jets, Cleveland, and Minnesota. Boom. The Ravens are a 10-win team. Now, if they beat Green Bay and the Patriots, they're an 11-win team. If they sweep the Steelers, they're an 11-win team again. So I think 10-7 is most likely, but as long as they beat the Steelers on December 7th, week 18 is going to be, hey, if we win this game, I think there's going to be quite a bit of teams that are going to be around 10 wins, and the Ravens are going to be like, we need 11. We can't go as a 10-win team because, look, that's the scenario for the Ravens to have 10 wins, okay? So let's say now we got the Ravens, the Texans, and the Colts all at 10 wins, okay? Which I think is very likely. But there's only 3 wild card spots available. The Jaguars are occupying one of them right now, and their record is 5-3. Now they look more like a team that's gonna win 9 games this year and be out of the picture, to be honest. But I don't have their schedule in front of me. But you got the Chiefs, who are 5-4, and it's time to look up the Chiefs' schedule because we need to know if they're going to win 10 games or not. All right. Right now, the Chiefs are a 5-4 football team. That's for the Ravens. Chiefs are 5-4 remaining opponents. All right. They played the Bills the day they lost. They play the Broncos next. Actually, they're going to play the Broncos twice. Once on Christmas, once on November 16th. They're going to play the Colts. Then they're going to play the Cowboys. Then they're going to play the Texans. Then they're going to play the Chargers. Then they're going to play the Titans. Then they're going to play the Broncos. Then they're going to play the Raiders. All right? So let's get the easy ones out of the way, all right? Let's say they win against the Raiders. They win against the Titans. They win against the Cowboys. Okay? Now, let's say they split with the Broncos, all right? Let's say Christmas they win. I hope they don't, but let's say they win against the Broncos on Christmas, all right? Let's say they beat the Chargers, right? Split the series. They already lost to the Chargers once. They got no Joe Alt. They're banged up. So just splitting the series with the Broncos and Chargers and giving them their due wins with the Titans, Raiders, and Cowboys, right? Just doing that only leaves 3 games left: the Broncos, the Colts, and the Texans. So, well, that's 3 losses, all right? So that puts them at 10-7. So if the Chiefs beat the Texans, they're an 11-win team. Okay? They're an 11-win team. If they beat the Colts, they're a 12-win team. And if they split with the Broncos and Chargers and they beat the Colts and Texans and then the Raiders and, Chargers and Broncos split the series, like, they're a 12-win team. They're a 12-win football team at that point. Now, I don't see it happening that way, but I'm like not. Look, the Chiefs are a wild card at this point. They could finish with 10 wins or 12, and I'm not sure which one it is. I want to believe that they're going to finish with around 11 wins, but I mean, they could absolutely win 12 games. I mean, think about it. All they have to do is beat the Texans, the Cowboys, split with the Broncos and Chargers, and take care of the Titans and Raiders. That only leaves the Broncos to beat them one time, and the Colts are my last hope that maybe they can beat them. If they only have 2 more losses, they're an 11-6 football team. If they have 2 more losses, because today, as of right now, they're 5-4. 2 more losses would put them at 11-6, right? 17 games, 11-6. Yeah. So the Chiefs, look, I think the Chiefs are going to be 11-6. Chiefs 11-6. And now I have to look at the Broncos because, look, this is important because if the Texans are going to win the division or even vice versa, it is important the Texans and Colts both know whether 10 wins is enough to be a wild card spot. Okay. The Broncos schedule is not easy either. So let's take a look at that. All right. They have the Raiders coming up. I think they get the win at home. They're going to be in their throwbacks. Okay. That would be huge. That would put Denver, right now they're 7-2, correct? Yes. So that would put them at 8-2. Las Vegas Raiders, that would put them at 8-2. Then they play the Chiefs. I think they win their home game against the Chiefs. I'm already assuming they're going to split the series. All right, that would put them at 9-2, which means even if the Chiefs go on a tear and only lose 1 game, and it's to the Colts, right? Like I said, as long as the Broncos can beat them 1 time, then they're going to be 11-5. I'm sorry, 11-6. As long as the Broncos beat them and split the series with them, they just need to win that 1 home game. Christ, please just split it. Now, Denver almost swept them last year. I know their Week 18 game didn't count, whatever, But even the year before with Russ, Denver won a game against the Chiefs and broke that record. And then Bo Nix led them down with there was 5 minutes left in the game. The Chiefs used all their timeouts and they blocked the 35-yard field goal to win the game. I mean, Bo beat Mahomes in Arrowhead, and like even Mahomes went up to him after the game. It was like, hell of a game, like there's gonna be many more of these. Like he knew right away, like, oh damn, that he's special. So I'm not worried about the Chiefs. Like, I think they should be worried about us. I think we're gonna split the series, and then the Commanders, and then the Raiders. I think the Broncos beat the Commanders and the Raiders. And if they beat the Chiefs at home, all of a sudden, Denver's on a 10-game winning streak playing the Packers. Now think about this. If they beat the Raiders, they're 7-2. If they beat the Chiefs at home the week after, they're 9-2. Then the Commanders 10-2 and the Raiders 11-2. So they got the Raiders, the Chiefs. Then after the Chiefs, the Commanders, and then the Raiders again. So 7, 8, 9. Wait, no. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That would be 11. They would be 11-2 if they win against the Raiders, Chiefs, Commanders, and Raiders. You add 4 to 7, you get 11-2. Denver would be 11-2 with their remaining games. Packers, Jaguars, Chiefs, and Chargers. I think the Packers game is going to be tough. I think they're going to lose probably to the Chiefs on Christmas. And the Chargers game in Denver, they're going to be in their throwbacks. And I think they beat the Jaguars. You guys, I think this is a 13-4 football team. I think Denver's going 13-4. I don't have them losing to the Raiders. Jaden Daniels gone from the Commanders. I don't have them losing to them. I have them splitting with the Chiefs. Beating the Raiders twice, beating the Commanders, and that leaves us with only the Raiders, Chargers, and Chiefs. And if Denver loses to, let's say, the Chiefs and the Chargers, they're still 13-4. If they beat the Chargers and Jags and only lose to the Chiefs, all of a sudden this is a 14-3 football team. And if they lose to the Packers and the Chiefs, and then that would be 2 more losses, they would be 13-4. But the Chiefs, the Chiefs are in a situation right now where they're already have 4 losses. They already have 4, and if Denver beats them, then they would have 5. So I do think Denver's going to win the West, unless they just collapse and start losing to the Raiders and the Commanders and the Raiders again and the Jaguars. If they start losing these games, okay. But as of right now, I think it's very possible that the Broncos. And look, I said in the beginning of the season the Broncos they're going to win 12 games this year. I said they were going to win 10 last year, and I knew they were going to win 12 games this year. They've already played the bulk of their difficult schedule. They got it out of the way. They went to London, right? They came back on a short week without a bye week, played the Giants, who had extra rest, who just came off beating the Eagles, and with Jackson Dart and a healthy Scatabo, they came in and kicked our ass, and Denver just put together a 31-point, 33-point fourth quarter and won the game. And in the Jets, they didn't travel well. They were in another country. They couldn't get anything going, but they got it done at the end. The Eagles game, they're down in the fourth quarter, 2 possessions, come back and win the game. Denver's already gone through all of the This is an opponent that's not hard, but they're probably going to lose just because of where they find them on the schedule. They're coming off no rest. The other team's got a ton of rest. They're coming off a big moral victory. You're coming off a game against the Jets where you just like looked embarrassing. And yet the math hasn't equaled the Denver loss. They just find a way to keep winning no matter how stupid or dumb it looks. They just like don't lose in the end. And now it's getting to the point of the schedule where it would have to be a pretty significant collapse for Denver to not win the division. They have a 2-game lead on the Chiefs. Now, of course, the Chiefs play Denver twice still, so they could make that up just playing the Broncos by themselves. But I do think Denver is going to split the series with Kansas City, and I'm looking forward to this because that would mean that one of the wild card spots would be taken by an 11-win team in Kansas City. Okay. So I'm going to put the Chiefs in the wild card spot. There's only 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to give the Chiefs the 11-6 record, meaning the Chiefs are only going to lose 2 more football games for the rest of the year, and it's going to be against the Broncos and the Colts. But it's very possible that they're going to be either 11-6 or 12-5. But because Denver's only going to lose 2 more games for the rest of the year, Denver will still be 13-4 and be the first seed or the top of the AFC West. So they'll, by default, the Chiefs will have to go to the wild card round, which I imagine that being 12-5 is going to put them at number what do you call number 5, the 5th seed. But what's happening to the Chargers? They're 6-3. I mean, why are we talking about the Chiefs? The Chargers are 6-3. You know what I mean? Like, what happens to the Chargers? Well, the Chargers, what happened to Joe Alt today? That's all that matters. I mean, Joe Alt was carted off the field. All right. How bad is it? If he's gone for the year, I think the Colts or I think the Chargers are kind of screwed. Barely got a win today against, who was it, Tennessee? Chargers pulled away barely against the Titans. They need to pull last-minute move in order to resurrect their offensive linemen. They're trying to figure it out. Like, they're just not – look, the Chargers blame the injury gods because if they had Rashawn Slater and Joe Alden or Marion Hampton, like, the Chargers would be the front runner to be the number 1 seed in the AFC. But that's not the case. And the Chargers are looking at a tough road ahead with the way that things are going. But yes, because they've taken care of business, they've put themselves in a good situation because now they've only lost 3 games and there's only 8 left. So they got the Steelers coming up at 7:20 p.m. They got the Jaguars. They got the Raiders. They got the Eagles, Chiefs, Texans, Broncos. I'm being generous here. Let's say the Texans and Broncos, one of those teams the Chargers lose to. The Eagles and the Chiefs, the Chargers lose to both of them. And the Jaguars and the Steelers, one of those teams the Chargers are going to lose to. And they're going to beat the Raiders and the Cowboys. But I'm being generous when I say there's 4 more losses on the board for the Chiefs. And they have 3 losses now, which would put them at 10-7, unfortunately, for the rest of people. All right. So we got the Chargers at 10-7. We got the Colts at 10-7. And we got Houston at 10-7. So one of those teams is going to be the wild card spot, ideally. Okay. So the big thing for the Chargers is they already lost to the Colts. So if the Chargers finish 10-7, the Texans win their division, and the Colts and Chargers are both 10-7, the Colts are getting in. The Colts are getting in because they won. They got the tiebreaker. Now the Texans, if the Colts win their division and the Texans are like, let's say the Colts and Texans are both 10-win teams, but the Colts win the division because of tiebreakers, and the Texans get bounced to the wild card round. The Texans and Chargers game on December 28th is going to be for the final wild card spot. That's how much is at stake in this game. Texans Chargers is for the playoffs. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. Okay. Chargers, Texans. Chargers, Texans. So there's only 3 wild card spots available. We got the Chiefs, Chargers, and Colts, or Texans. Okay. And we haven't, let's make sure we're not leaving anybody out. All right. What about the Bills? What about Buffalo? Are we just not, is Buffalo just not going this year? Is that what we think? Of course not. Here's the problem. Buffalo can't win their division because the frickin' schedule writers decided to put every single bad team on the Patriots schedule. It's embarrassing. Really. Like the hardest game, they have to play the Bills again. For the Patriots, that's a difficult game, and then they play the Buccaneers and the Ravens. The rest of the season is a cakewalk, just like the 6 of the first 8 games were against a team with an average of 2 wins at this point in the season. So, like, yeah, it's going to be really hard for the Bills to win a division when they're having to play the Texans, and actually it's looking pretty good for the Bills. They got the Dolphins, the Bucks, Texans, Steelers, but then they got the Bengals, Patriots, Browns, like Eagles. Yeah, I mean, look, let's say they beat the Dolphins. This is important, actually. This is kind of really, really important, all right? So let's go Bills, and let's just be clear about where they stand right now. They are 6-2, okay? So let's say they got Dolphins. Okay, so now they're 7-2. Then they play the Bucks and the Texans. Let's say they win one of them and lose one of them. Okay, that would put them at 8-3. Houston and Tampa Bay. That would put them at 8-3. Then they would have the Steelers and Bengals. Let's say they win both. All right. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. All right. They would be 10-3. They would be 10-3. And the only games left, 1, 2, 3, 4. They would have 4 games left, and they would be 10-3. And their final games would be the Patriots, Browns, Eagles, and Jets. Let's just be conservative, right? And say they lose to the Eagles and Patriots, but I don't think the Patriots sweep them. So let's say the Bills lose to the Steelers or Bucks. The best way you could paint it, right? I mean, even if you're being overly conservative, they get swept by the Patriots and they lose to the Eagles, but they beat the Jets and the Browns. You're looking at you're already there. I mean, you're already at a 12-5 team. So you're going to have Buffalo at 12-5. And I think the Patriots should be able. Dude, I think the Patriots are going to end up being 12-5 as well. But Buffalo at 12-5, they would be the 5 seed. Buff at 12-5 would be the 5 seed. The 6 seed would be Kansas City at 11-6. And then there's only one spot available if the Colts don't win their division. They're kind of screwed because, well, if the Chargers go to 10-7, the Colts have the head-to-head. So I think that's where Indy would be, or Indy or Houston. Okay? I think both are going to win about 10 games, and whoever gets bounced, if it's the Colts, then they've already beaten the Chargers. If it's Houston plays the Chargers week 17, okay? But that's it. Like, we're out of spots at that point. So Indy's going to have Jags, Seattle, San Francisco, Jacksonville, Texans. Yeah. And then Baltimore and Pittsburgh. That's like the final two things to look at. So you have so far 5, 6, 7. I got Buffalo as the 5 seed with a 12-5 record. I got Kansas City at the 6 seed with 11-6. And then I think Houston is going to be on. I think Indy's going to win their division with 10 wins, right? I think it's going to be New England is going to be the 2 seed. 1, let's say Denver or New England. And then I'll do New England or Denver, whatever. And then the 3 seed and the 4 seed, this is where Indianapolis would be, right? Indy or Houston. And those are interchangeable at the 7 seed as well. Both 10-7. And then finally at the 4 seed, you would have Baltimore or Pittsburgh. Now, Pittsburgh would be a tough one because right now they're the 4 seed. They're 5-3, but they have the Chargers coming up on Sunday night. They have the Bills, they have the Ravens, they have the Lions, and the Steelers again, or the Ravens again. And we know the Ravens are going to be desperate. So I think they're going to lose 4 out of those 5. I think there's 4 more losses for the Steelers. And I'm going to add a 5th loss to either the Chargers or the Bears. They're going to lose one of them. So there's 5 more losses, which would put them at 9-8. And I think that's likely where Pittsburgh ends the season at 9-8. And then the Ravens will win that division because, like I said, if the Ravens split with the series with the Steelers, and they win against either Green Bay or New England, all they have to do is beat Minnesota, the Jets, Cleveland, and the Bengals twice, and they have 10 wins. So the only way for the Steelers to get into the postseason is to either beat the Ravens twice or find a way to not lose 5 of their remaining 9 games, which is going to be really difficult when they have the Chargers, Bears, Ravens, Lions, Bills. I mean, that's 6 tough games right there. And really, their only easy games, Dolphins, Bengals, and Browns, which I have no problem giving them those 3 wins, but that only gets them to 8 wins. I mean, they would need to beat the Ravens. Even if you give them a win against the Bears or the Chargers, which I said one of them, I'm sure they'll win. That would get them to 9 wins. But do you really have them beating the Bears and the Chargers? Because that gets them to 10. And then if they can beat like the Ravens, Lions, Bills, or the Ravens again, then we can talk about 11. But I'm just not there with them. I think the Steelers look more like a 9-8 team right now. And the Ravens are the team that's going to win the division. And they would win it with 10 wins. And 10 wins would put them at, it would be Ravens at 10-7. They would be the 4 seed. I mean, if the Colts or Texans are 10-7, then 3 and 4 are interchangeable depending on tiebreaker stuff. So I don't know like who would have the better conference record, but basically Denver, New England, or New England and Denver's 1 and 2. Indy or Houston is 3, both at 10-7. If the Colts get bounced to the wild card round, it helps that they have the head-to-head tiebreaker over the Chargers already for beating them. If Houston gets bounced to the wild card, week 17, the Chargers and Houston play. That'll be a playoff game. Like whoever wins that game gets a spot. But we know that the Ravens, if they go to 10-7, are likely going to take the 4th spot. And the Steelers are going to be competing, right? If they go 10-7, then they could take it. But you would have the Steelers, the Colts, or Texans. All right, Steelers, Colts, or Texans, Chargers, or Ravens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 teams that could get 10 wins. I think the Ravens get to 10. I think the Steelers get to 9. I think the Colts win their division. Texans come to the wild card round. And the winner of the Texans-Chargers game, week 17, is going to be your final wild card spot. So it would be Denver, New England, Indy, Ravens. 5 seed would be Buffalo at 12-5. 6 seed would be Kansas City at 11-6. And the 7 seed will be winner of week 17, Chargers versus Texans. Winner of Chargers versus Texans week 17 will be the 7 seed. There. I didn't leave anybody off. That's it. That's your AFC picture, and I guarantee you it's going to be perfect. That's it. That is it. I think we actually got some real clarity here. I think we do. 13, 12, and I think you're looking at 13-4, 13-4 for New England, and then Indy at 10-7, and Ravens, Baltimore at 10-7. Now, have the Colts played the Ravens? That's what's important. Because if the Colts, who has the tiebreaker over the Colts and Ravens? Because that would determine who's the 3 and who's the 4. The Colts don't play the Ravens this year. Yeah. All right. But then 5 seed is Buffalo at 12-5. And then you have Kansas City at 11-6. And then 7 would be winner of Texans, Chargers, week 17. Both teams 10-7. Yep, both teams will be 10-7. So the Texans playing the Chargers. Once again, that game is in. That's going to be in the Charger Stadium. That's an away game, and that's December 28th. And if that's the way it goes down, I got to pick Denver or New England to be the 1 seed. And I'm looking at New England Patriots. I'm looking at their schedule, and I'm thinking, golly, could it be any easier? They're 7-2 right now. They got the Buccaneers coming up off of a bye. Let's say they lose that, okay? Then they'll be 7-3. Jets win, Bengals win, 9-3. Giants win, 10-3. Bills lose, 9-3, 9-4. Ravens lose, 9-5. No. It'd be Buccaneers, Ravens, Bills. That's 3 losses. So if they lose 3 more games, they'll have 5 losses. So they'll be 11-5. Wait, no, 11-6. Wait, no. They would lose to the Bucks, the Bills, the Ravens, and the Bills. Ravens, Bills, Bucks. That's it. There's only 3 more losses. Ravens, Bills, and Bucks. So they would end with 5 losses, which would mean they're 12-5. 12-5. And if Denver and New England was both 12-5, why did they Denver was at the number 2 seed earlier today, but then they swapped it and put the Patriots back at the 2 seed. I told you it didn't make any sense because it goes to division record, and Denver had a worse division record than the Patriots. So anyway, the Patriots would have Denver still has the Raiders twice, the Chargers once, and the Chiefs twice. They've only lost 1 game to the Chargers. They have only played that 1 divisional game. So, they're still like the Chargers once, the Raiders twice, and the Chiefs twice. That's 5 games. So they could still go 4-2 in their division. And we'll see. We'll see. But just for the sake of this, I'll say Denver's the 3 seed. The Patriots are the 2 seed. But actually, no, because I wrote Denver 13-4. And I have the Patriots going 12-5. Because I have Denver losing to the Chiefs out of one of their games and then losing to either the Jags or the Packers. But outside of that, they have the Raiders twice, the Chargers once, Raiders twice, Chiefs twice, Chargers once, Jags, Packers. That's 7 games. And right now they have 7. That would put them at 4. That's 14, 15, 16. I'm only missing 1 game. So as long as they beat the Raiders twice, split the series with the Chiefs and the Chargers, and beat the Raiders twice, I can only find 2 more losses, 3 more tops. But if Denver only loses 2 more games, they will be the 1 seed. And I'm going to do it that way just because I don't want to have to deal with the tiebreaker stuff. So Denver would have the bye week, or the Patriots, whatever. Then after the bye, it would be it would be, I'll do it like this. Denver or New England would play whoever wins the Week 17 game between the Texans and Chargers versus Houston or Chargers. So the 1 seed's huge, man, because whoever wins the 1 seed is playing Houston or the Chargers. Whoever ultimately goes to the 2 seed is fucking not only not getting a bye week, but they're going to be playing Kansas City. So, look, it's either get a better record or New England, or get your ass ready to play Kansas City in the first round of the playoffs. And then the 3 seed would play the 5. Wait, no, I'm missing one. Wait, I'm missing one. The 1 seed gets the bye. The 2 seed, New England or Denver, would play the winner of the Texans-Chargers game. So New England versus Chargers, Denver versus Chargers, or whatever. And then the 6 seed plays the 2 seed. So Denver or New England. Then the 3 seed plays the 5 seed. And then what happens to the 4 seed? What do we do with the 4 seed? 1 plays 7. No. 1 doesn't play. 1 doesn't play. That's what I fucked up. Okay, yeah. There is no 1 seed in the first round. All right. So wild card, Denver, let's say they're the 1 seed, they get the bye. Okay, then the 2 seed is going to play New England, would play Houston or Chargers. And I think New England would probably win, unless it was against I don't know, Houston wins their playoff games. I think Houston probably win a playoff game with their defense. So then there would be Houston-Denver would be the divisional round. And if Denver gets that win, they go to the conference championship. But let's play it out, all right? Let's say New England versus Houston or the Chargers. Let's say New England gets it done. It's going to be in New England, crowd crazy. Let's say New England wins, even though I think Houston would win. All right. So we got New England as a remaining seed. And then you would have New England would play the Houston, and then you go to the Kansas City versus you got Kansas City versus the Colts. Ooh, Kansas City versus the Colts, and then you have Buffalo versus Baltimore. New England versus Houston or the Chargers, Kansas City versus the Colts, Buffalo versus Baltimore. Wow. If Buffalo wins, they would be the 5 seed. And then New England wins, they're the 2. And then let's just say the Chiefs win. They would be the 6. And then Denver would be the 4. So then Denver would play KC and New England would play Buffalo. Wow. We would have 2 divisional games in the divisional round, as long as New England beats Houston or the Chargers and Kansas City beats the Colts. The divisional round would be Denver versus Kansas City and New England versus Buffalo. And if Buffalo and Kansas City both won, it would be Kansas City at Buffalo for the AFC Championship game. If Denver and Buffalo wins, it would be Buffalo at Denver for the AFC Championship game. If New England and Denver won, it would be whoever is the 1 and whoever is the 2 play each other. And if Kansas City and New England won, it would be Kansas City at New England. Wow. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the AFC breakdown. I wanted to do that after this game just to give you guys a little clear picture kind of on the AFC and where we're at and why every freaking game is so important from here on out. There is no more games that don't matter. Every single opponent matters massively. I mean, even a game that looks like, oh, it's just the Bengals, every game counts, because if you can't beat the layups, if you don't make your layups, you're going to be forced to win the half court shots or you're out. So, I mean, we talked about the AFC like, oh, it doesn't look that competitive this year. I'll tell you this. There's only going to be one wild card spot available for a 10-win team. I mean, we've seen it in the past where teams have won divisions with less than 10 wins. We've had a couple 9-win teams in the wild card. It's not happening. You're going to have 11, 12-win teams in the wild card spot because division winners are going to have 13 and 12 wins. I mean, it's going to be a pretty competitive AFC, but my divisional round is going to be Denver, Kansas City, and New England and Buffalo. And how exciting is that? Kansas City and Buffalo are like the 2 teams that have dominated their divisions for the last, I don't know, since Mahomes and Allen got in the league. And now there's these new young gunners that are trying to take the throne, and they get to host a playoff game against the people that have, been like, this is my division. Yeah, well, you guys are going to go on the road and play those young gunslingers and see what happens. And I just think that's awesome. I think Denver and New England are kind of like walking very similar path this year. They got a lot of the same energy going on. Of course, New England has a freaking easy ass schedule, and they only have one competitive team in their division. So they're not battle tested by any means. But as far as just like the hype and the feelings, that's pretty spot on. But thank you guys for watching. As always, please hit the like button on your way out. And I will see you guys on my recap of all of Sunday football. I am in the process of moving, so don't be startled if you see a different backdrop coming up here shortly. I'm going to have a new background, but thank you guys for watching today, and I'll see you guys on the next stream. As always, this one's for Bill.